The Greatest Hits is a new sci-fi romantic drama about a woman who discovers that certain songs can transport her back in time, literally, and she begins to relive moments with her former boyfriend as she struggles to move on from his death. It's an interesting new film that made its world premiere at the South by Southwest Film Festival, and we're here to talk about it now before it hits theaters and then Hulu. I'm Zach Shevich, joined by Amanda the Jedi and Arturo Zurita. Arturo, why don't you start us off? What did you feel about The Greatest Hits?
It was cute. This South by had a lot of like looping type of movies that found people in like a scenario where they'd kind of be stuck in time, and it was supposed to be representative of like, how do you move out of this space? You know, many times we're stuck, but we're still getting older. The years pass by.
We're stuck really emotionally.
Yeah, when you're stuck
places,
emotionally, you're trapped in a single moment. And this is one of those movies where, as Zach was stating, after an incident, every time that a greatest hit appears on the radio, if she shared a moment with her ex-boyfriend, she would be able to flash back to it. Very cute idea. I don't know if all of the rules apply well, right?
Like, it's a 5 out of 5 idea.
Yeah, I like the idea a lot. I don't know how technically it would always work, but just the concept of, you know, just in regular life, you hear something, you get transported back. You smell something, you get transported back. So I thought that angle was really interesting. And it really helped kind of flesh out her character and what it is that she was stuck on, what she wanted to advance on. I think the relationship that we find in the movie, her trying to move on with Justin Min's character, he has been great at all the festival movies that we see him with, because he's always coming in as like the guy who's really causing his own problems most of the time. And I respect seeing characters like that up on screen. And I thought that the dynamic that they had was really cute. I didn't end up loving the movie, but I thought it was a very adorable time.
Yeah, there's a real sweet quality to it, but I don't know if all of it completely lands. Amanda, I thought you had a pretty strong reaction to the movie, though. You enjoyed it.
I did really like it, but I also acknowledge I went through a personal event early in the festival. Made me relate to maybe a little bit too much to the romantic comedy finding.
She heard a commercial song that's in this movie.
I did, you know. No, do you want to know what's actually extra funny? Is that I found out the inner workings of what Cars for Kids was with that person. The commercial came on once, and I was like, "What is this?" And we Googled it together. So
it was y'all song. Y'all just jingled.
No one died. I just want to clarify, no one died, but it's just like, yeah. So it was like kind of hitting. It was kind of hitting a bit. So I did still like it quite a bit. I thought it was like a pretty strong concept. I think an interesting way to explore that idea of grief and not being able to let go of something. And
it's cute, yeah.
You know, it's cute. I thought it was just like an interesting way to address that, you know, that kind of concept that we've seen in a lot of movies of somebody just not being able to move past something, just to be able to actually go back to those moments and then kind of see how they warp. So like at first it's all just only positive things, and then seeing some of the ways that like maybe the relationship wasn't as perfect as you might be idealizing in your head for whatever reasons. Right. So yeah, I did really like it. I thought the performance was really good. I also just really like Justin Min, just like you're saying, you know, like that's, you know, since Umbrella Academy, you know, pops up there.
He's good. Shortcomings, right? Shortcomings?
He's in Shortcomings as well. Yeah, Shortcomings as well. So he's definitely less of an asshole than he's been in the last couple roles.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly. So he's kind of, I felt like he kind of swung back a little bit more like, you know, early stage
Chill.
Umbrella. Yeah, you know, So he's kind of in the middle where he's like, some of his problems are his problems, but
it is funny though, because I feel like his character, like he's really playing it very cute, but if a different performance, it could be a little bit creepy.
It would be creepy.
The way that he's
like
written.
Yeah, like they meet at a grief counseling thing. And it's like automatically, it's like there's only so many reasons why someone would be here. So it's like very interesting that you're trying to pick someone up right out of the grief. So then you find out that she's there because of like dead ex. It's like, it's a little weird.
There's a little bit of like movie hurry up, skip over the yada 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 of their relationship.
But
like the record bit,
they speed run
that ain't working on me. If I was on the other side, I'm like, you better give me that record. We're not babysitting this record.
No,
right off the bat, we got custody. No.
But it's like the tone of the movie is so sweet, and I think their dynamic is cute enough that you kind of get over it. It is, you know, endearing. particularly because of the dynamic between Justin Min and Lucy Boynton, who I don't think we've said her name yet, but is the star and is very
She's
very
really
capable here. Yeah. It's interesting. This is a film written and directed by Ned Benson. It's a director I've had my eye on for quite a bit because he's the guy who did The Disappearance of Eleanor Rigby, His and Hers. They were these two sort of like parallel movies starring James McAvoy and Jessica Chastain that got chopped to death by Harvey Weinstein before he got exiled from Hollywood. So he's a guy who likes to play with movie forms. But I thought it was interesting, just given his last name is Benson, that the first thing I thought of in the beginning was Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead and their approach to these kind of like dirty sci-fi stories for about like 10, 15 minutes there. It feels like it could be a Benson Moorhead film. And then it moves more towards the kind of like emotionality, rom-com-y elements of it. And I don't know, maybe I was hoping for a little bit more of that like grimy, gritty, like how does the machinations of time travel work? Like she's got all her notes and she's figuring it out.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, it's this really killer premise that, as you both have been saying, is really tied into this idea of the way that certain things, particularly like music, can transport you back to the moments in time. You know, we all have had these experiences of like, man, I remember listening to this song in this moment and how special that was. It doesn't really, I think, ever figure out what to do with it because she's trapped between, you know, trying to affect the past and trying to move on from the past. And it is ultimately about her processing grief, but it kind of, for a little bit, seems like it's trying to have it both ways. And I don't know, I think maybe that's part of what is ultimately a little unsatisfying about some of it, while still like acknowledging I had a very good time with this one. And you know, any time that a movie wants to like portray Jamie XX's music as like most tragically beautiful thing you've ever heard, that's going to work for me. It got a tear from me.
I could tell when they were, because they were sitting in front of us and they would just go like this to each other. That's why when the commercial came on, I was just like, this man's about to erupt.
If you liked indie music between 2006 and 2012, good luck with this movie. I mean, it's really going to hit in certain respects.
With that Aha song, and I was like, oh no.
Well, so that's another interesting element because it starts with "This Is the Day," and it feels like it's going to be very, very on the nose. And then I didn't feel like the rest of the movie was quite as on the nose with their music selection.
Yeah, and like you were saying, I didn't want it to get into too much of like here are all the mechanics and everything that happens, but I still wanted to explore her doing it because, like you said, sometimes she is hearing the same song and she's going back again. I'm like, interesting. You must have heard the song multiple times, like that St. Vincent song, or not St. Vincent, the Vincent song, Higher.
Yeah, Higher.
We have heard that in multiple places. Where are we getting? I was kind of curious, like which moment am I getting transported back to? Does she get transported back to different?
Apparently, it's
times,
the first time they ever heard it together. It's always the very first time they ever hear it together.
And then, like Zach said, there's this element where she's trying to change stuff in the past to see if it could do something for the future. And I need much of it explained as much as I wanted to see her go through it a little bit more than her telling Justin, I've been kind of going through this. I thought that would have been a little bit more interesting, but I agree that there are moments in the movie where it feels too smart for the movie it's giving you. Yeah. When they're going on a ride and he's got this like what is it called? The convertible. Yeah, and he drives around LA with her. And she's like, does this always work? Driving around LA with a convertible? He's like, yeah. A person who can make that line, I feel, would have gone maybe in some different directions when it came to the story. I don't know if it's based off something.
I don't think so.
But like, it was good. It wasn't bad. I just wanted a little bit more with such an interesting premise.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, is I think we while we all had a good time with it, we're feeling the movie that it maybe could have been and how great that idea is and how evocative it is as a concept. And the movie hits it in moments. They hit it in moments. So
they hit it in moments.
Yeah.
Maybe it's them having to clear a lot of songs to get like a smaller script that doesn't take too many swings. And hey, the amount of songs they cleared was pretty cool, so I will give them that. It's supposed to be Hulu as well, which means that Disney had the money to be able to give it back. Disney was out there giving out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
T-shirts.
Greatest hit shirts as well.
Yeah.
Amanda and I were able to go get one patched.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get this one over here. They had this cool South by patch that I thought was pretty dope. She got the better patch. Amanda is adding patches to her South by.
Yeah, the Amazon jean jacket they were giving away last year that they drew on, so I added a patch.
You got the crop top too.
Yeah, I tried to say
I saw
that.
yellow, bro. I saw yellow and blue.
Me
I said,
too.
Go get that
I was
over
gonna
there.
grab that
Half
one.
a shirt.
Yeah, they grabbed that one, and then I hear crop top, and I tried yelling to Caitlin. I'm like, these 3 boxes are crop tops. These are t-shirts. And then I guess people didn't hear because like suddenly everybody has. I'm like, she wasn't even wearing crop tops in the movie. Why are you giving out?
We do crop top
tops?
Aprils here on Intercut, so we're gonna save it for our after recordings.
Boys, it's time to go back to the 80s. Get your short shorts. Get your crop tops.
Get the short shorts, but
Yeah.
no. Overall, the movie has a really good style to it.
Yeah.
And and the performances are really strong as well. It's just you do want it to be a little bit more, and I wonder sometimes if that's what gets some of these movies to go to streaming when they very clearly can go to theaters, right?
Yeah.
Roadhouse at South by. This one, there's a lot of movies that we know. Even It Comes Inside.
I mean,
Who
it's
are
what's
these
It's What's
studios?
Inside.
I hope
Which
it
one?
doesn't come inside. It's what's
Or It's What's Inside. Sorry, those are movies where the studios are deciding where they go. Y'all the dirty minds right there, but I think there's an It Comes Inside out there as well.
It lives inside. Is maybe what
It
you're
lives
thinking
inside.
Yeah.
I'm
Speaking
coming
of
up with the other version already for this movie.
Yeah, the porn parody. Speaking of the performances in this movie, this film also features David Corenswet, the soon-to-be Superman, who was not at our Q&A because he's busy filming
Superman.
Clark Kent scenes.
Booked and busy.
Are you
Because he
now
heard a song and
ready?
he vanished.
Are you any more excited or have any more faith in his ability to portray Superman after seeing this movie? He doesn't have a huge part in it.
I'm up. He got the charmingness in it.
It honestly, for me, it wasn't even this. It was I just saw him doing an interview talking about Star Wars, and I was like, oh, he's so earnest that this is like
But it's
definitely,
positive.
yeah, in a good way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's so
I wasn't
earnest
sure.
in a good way that I'm like, you are the type of Superman that they're making because guns showing like the stills of, All-Star Superman and that kind of stuff, and like that's the kind of Superman we need. I don't know if he's necessarily like old enough to play that version of Superman that I have in my mind, but I am just looking.
He can get there. That'd be
He can
cool.
get there, and I am just looking forward to a more that version. I love Cavill, and Cavill could have played that version of the character if they had wanted him to be that version of the character, but they never let it get there. So I'm pretty excited to see that like
On the script, yeah.
actual hopeful Superman that is both somber within himself, but still such this like beacon of light. So yeah, pretty excited for that.
Zach was right. He's not in it a lot, so I can only judge him off of like the stills, because she comes back, so they do give him these shots where it's like she's waking up to him, and I'm like, oh, these are some really good silhouettes for someone who's about to be Superman. So judging just off of the visuals, man's got a really strong chin,
Chin, dark hair,
He looks
blue
pretty well.
eyes. He's
Handsome.
good,
right? He's got some really good shots, especially in the sun, and I think with the training he's getting right now, I can't wait to see him as Superman.
Yeah, should be good.
At one point, one of the songs that sort of triggers her kind of flashbacks early in the film is "Pump Up the Jam," and I wrote in my notes, "What's the most embarrassing song you can think of that could be a trigger for you?" And then the movie answers that question with the commercial jingle later on, which I really, really loved. But I don't know if either of you had a thought of what the most embarrassing song you could have as a trigger is.
I feel like if Gangnam Style comes out, I'm going back to when I was teaching kids and they would just rabidly dance to that song. I hear that song, I just see all the kids doing the thing.
William Hung. She bang.
Oh,
William Hung,
jeez.
she bang, the William Hung.
Where's that taking?
'Cause
Where's that taking you back to?
Yeah, it's gonna take me back to being like a kid, so that's weird.
Yeah,
but
it takes me back to cafeteria tables, and I
know what I
don't
mean?
like
Yeah.
that feeling. Yeah.
yeah, no, nowhere positive.
I'm gonna say Limp Bizkit's. Was it Running? What were we playing to?
Rollin',
So I could go back
Rollin'.
to South by. Rolling.
There we
So
go.
I could
Roland
go back
Rings,
to
that's
South.
wild.
good one.
That's like I have like distinct memories of like somebody playing that CD in fifth
Y'all are going
grade.
elsewhere, but I'm going back to barbecue.
Yeah, no,
after
mine's
that.
like
Yeah.
fifth grade CD player, teacher being like, absolutely not.
Yeah,
Man
Kevin
with the red
Sandor's
cap
house.
backwards.
Backwards red cat. Yeah.
All right, so the greatest hits. It's a mild recommendation from all of us, and I think we're all
home?
I'd give it a
definitely
strong. It's at
interested.
home. Like, yeah, watch
Okay,
it.
yeah,
I'd give it a
true.
strong recommendation because it's
And
on
I think-
Amazon.
I think we're all also interested in whatever Ned Benson decides to cook up next, because it's
Absolutely, yeah, because he did
don't
write
take
this
too
as
long.
well. He's like the full writer director, so it's an original idea from him, and I think it shows like promise to want to do something different in an area of a story.
for sure.
Yeah.
Also, the headphones bit.
Yeah.
I've always thought that to be the corniest thing in the world, but she wears headphones
Yeah.
to not hear music. I don't know how noise canceling those bad boys were.
Well, she was
There's
wearing like
a party.
earplugs, then
Yeah.
headphones, then playing her own Spotify
Right.
through
How
it.
the
And I
hell
think-
was she hearing this man? Like,
Lip reading. She lip
Maybe
reading.
she's
I guess she's that good.
a good lip reader. She's practiced in ASL or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the inventiveness that I wanted more of from this movie, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a party that they go through, and I've always made fun of those parties, and now I realize what they're for. If you have a time-traveling girlfriend when she hears the greatest hits, then you are completely okay.
Yeah.
You can go to those parties.
It's the perfect place for a date.
Yeah.